guys, and welcome back to my channel, and welcome to my channel if it is your first time here. My name is Jess. I upload videos once a week, and today's video is going to be my first, possibly final book haul of 2020. If you watched my bookish goals for 2020, you will have seen that we are doing a no buy 6 months, and that means no buying books for 6 months, which, to be honest, is already turning out to be extremely difficult. That being said, I do have a voucher left over from Christmas for Waterstones, so if things get really desperate, I can satisfy my need to buy books that way. But yeah, basically I'm just trying really hard to read the books that I currently own and not buy any more. So these books that I'm going to haul today are the books that I got for Christmas, and also the books that I bought when we went to Edinburgh. And again, if you haven't seen my Edinburgh vlog, then that has recently gone live, so do go and check that out as well. But yeah, without further ado, let's jump in and start talking about some books. Now, there are quite a few, so I'm not going to go into too much detail over what they are about. Hopefully I'll just give you a good idea and a little taste of what I might be reading over the next few months. So first up, I wanted to mention a gorgeous set of books that I got for Christmas. I got these in the Secret Santa that we do with James's side of the family. And it is the Lord of the Rings set. So we have The Hobbit, The Fellowship of the Ring, The Two Towers, and The Return of the King. And I have read these books before, but I have never owned my own copies. I read them when I was living at home, so I read my parents' copies, and I have always wanted to do a reread of them. That is probably going to happen at some point way off in the future, but now I own them and I absolutely love these covers. I think that they are absolutely stunning. Let me try and get one out. So that is The Fellowship of the Ring. I just think they're so pretty, and I'm so pleased that I got them. Yeah, and at some point in the future I will reread these. Actually, just want to show you The Hobbit because I can't even. This just is so pretty. Probably my favourite of the four. Next, another book that I got for Christmas is We Must Be Brave by Frances Liardet. This is World War II historical fiction, but what has intrigued me about this book is that it's a slightly different story, in that it's about a young woman who has always known that she never wanted kids, probably for a reason that we'll uncover in the book, and then during a blitz she finds a little girl who appears to have been abandoned at the back of a bus, and so, doing the right thing, she takes her home, and the story kind of unfolds from there. And this book has suddenly exploded everywhere in the book community. I've seen lots of good things about it, so yeah, definitely one that I'm looking forward to reading at some point. Then we have The Binding by Bridget Collins, which was a book that I mentioned in my books I definitely want to read in 2020 video. This is high priority for me. It's fantasy historical fiction, basically about a young bookbinding apprentice called Emmett, and this is a world where if you have a memory that you want to get rid of, you can go to the bookbinders and they will bind that memory into a book and you forget all about it. It's just gone completely from your memory, and one day while he is working, Emmett discovers a book that has his name on it. Ergo, there is a memory that he wishes to forget, and I'm guessing that he kind of has to uncover what it is, etc, etc. Again, this is a book that comes with extremely high praise. I'm very excited to read it. Definitely going to be picking it up soon. It says on the front, the breakout sensation of the year, and honestly, everyone that I've spoken to who has read this book just rates it so highly. So yeah, one that I'm very pleased to own. Next up, we have a trilogy. It is the Remnant Chronicles trilogy. There are 3 books. We have The Kiss of Deception, The Heart of Betrayal, and The Beauty of Darkness. This is a YA fantasy series by Mary E. Pearson, and I believe it's about a 17-year-old girl called Leah, who is the first daughter of a kingdom. On the day of her wedding, which is an arranged marriage, she flees, basically. But I think that the interesting twist to this particular book, I'm not sure about the follow-ons, is that Leah is being pursued by A, the jilted groom, and B, a bounty hunter who has been sent by Leah's father to get her and bring her back. But you don't know which is which. I think you get the story from the perspective of all 3 characters, so Leah, the groom, and the bounty hunter. But when it comes to the groom and the bounty hunter, you don't know who is who, which kind of makes for an interesting twist. Again, these are books that I've heard very good things about. We're very happy to have received them for Christmas, and yeah, we shall see. Another book which I've already mentioned, so if you watched my 2020 books, I'm sorry about that, but it's a non-fiction called The Secret Lives of Introverts Inside Our Hidden World by Jen Granneman, and I was gifted this by my mum. I'm so excited to carry on with my read of it. I read the first 30 or so pages literally after opening it. I was just totally sucked in, totally absorbed. It says on the back, an introvert guide, a manifesto for all the quiet ones and the people who love them. As I mentioned in my Bookish Goals, books I want to read in 2020 video, I've never really read a book about being introverted, despite knowing for a very long time that I am introverted, so I'm really excited to kind of read this, uncover, connect, all that kind of stuff. And I had so many comments from you guys after mentioning it in that video, A, recommending another book called Quiet, and B, just saying that you were also going to get a copy of this. So I hope to read it soon. I will let you have my thoughts, but yeah, just another one that I'm really pleased to have been gifted, and hopefully, yeah, I'll read it soon. And then of the books that I got gifted for Christmas, there is just one more, and it's a non-fiction again. And that is The Working Woman's Handbook, Ideas, Insights and Inspiration for a Successful Creative Career by Phoebe Lovat. And this is, it just says on the back, it's the ultimate guide to career satisfaction filled with practical advice. I did have a quick flick through it. I'm not sure how many of you know. If you've been around my channel for a while, I'm assuming most of you will know that I work in a regular job Monday to Thursday. But I also do a lot of freelance stuff with video making and with my blog and social media and that kind of thing. So this will hopefully just help me to have a little bit more of a focus on my freelance stuff. I'm not giving up my other job. I enjoy having just a regular job. But yeah, it will just hopefully give me a little bit more focus for my freelance stuff. And again, it's just one that I'm excited to get to. I don't think that it will take me too long to work my way through it when I get to it, but yeah. Then just before we get on to the books that I bought in Edinburgh, I'm going to quickly show you two books that I bought. I think it was in November time, before Christmas, but I haven't hauled them yet. So one is a book that I have already read. I read it in January, so watch out for my wrap up when I'll talk more about it, and that is Call Down the Hawk by Maggie Stiefvater. This is the first book in a new spin-off trilogy by Maggie Stiefvater called the Dreamer Trilogy. One of the characters in this book is a character from Maggie Stiefvater's Raven Cycle Quartet, so it's quite difficult to talk about this book because if you haven't read The Raven Cycle, then there will be some spoilers in this book. But this is about one of the characters called Ronan, and I was just so excited to read this. It's YA paranormal fantasy. And before reading The Raven Cycle, I'd never read any paranormal YA fiction before, and I just flew through it and fell in love with it, and particularly the character of Ronan, who is the character in these books. So as you can imagine, I was thrilled when I realised that she'd written a spin-off series. So yeah, loved it. We'll talk more about it in my wrap-up, but yeah, would highly recommend. Then we have The Prison Doctor by Dr. Amanda Brown. This is a non-fiction, basically written by Dr. Amanda Brown, talking about her experiences working in some of Britain's most notorious jails, and I'm on the fence about this. I bought it because I thought that it sounded really interesting, but I can be a little bit of a wimp when it comes to medical non-fiction, and I read This Is Going to Hurt by Adam Kay last year and really enjoyed it. I flew through it, I thought it was so funny, but then Fragile Lives I couldn't finish because it just made me really squeamish. So I'm not sure how I'm going to get on with this one. Basically, it's one that I've seen highly recommended for people who enjoyed This Is Going to Hurt, but yeah, I don't know. I'm curious to read something like this. It's not a book that I would typically choose to pick up. I'm intrigued to see what it's about, but whether I can pick it up and make it to the end, I'm not sure. Okay, then on to the books that I bought while I was in Edinburgh. There were loads of gorgeous little second-hand bookshops in Edinburgh, and I rinsed them all. So again, I won't talk too much about what the books are about, but I'll just kind of give you a little indication, and then if you're interested, you can of course go and find out for yourself. Don't forget that I have my Amazon and Book Depository affiliate links in the description box down below. I also have something new for 2020, which is when you can buy me a coffee if you want to support my channel, because I don't make any money from doing this. I do it for the sheer love of making videos, but also because it's my hobby. But if you fancied supporting the channel by buying me a coffee, then the link to that is also in the description box down below. But yeah, I'll whiz through these so that this video does not go on forever and ever. Okay, first up, a book which I have also already mentioned. Apologies for the crossover content, but this is The Colour of Magic by Terry Pratchett. I don't normally like buying TV or movie covers for books, but Terry Pratchett has been on my radar for quite a while. I have been really intrigued to try out one of his Discworld books. This is the first one, and honestly, this was so cheap that I thought I'll buy it. I'll try it. If I don't like it, then I'll just pass it on to somebody else, and if I do like it, then I can buy a more attractive cover if I decide to carry on with the series. So I actually don't know too much about it other than this is the first book in his Discworld series, and that is adult, epic, high fantasy, and that is literally it. And I'm quite happy to go in completely blind, and hopefully I'll be really impressed. But as I said, don't know too much about it, but he's just been on my radar. I know he is very much beloved, so yeah, I would like to give one of his books a go. Next we have Career of Evil by Robert Galbraith, aka J.K. Rowling. This is the third book in her Cormoran Strike detective series, and I have read the other two. I really enjoyed them. I'm a sucker for a good old crime solving detective mystery book. These are a little bit more literary than some of the other books that I read by authors like John Grisham or Robert Goddard, but I enjoy them nonetheless, and this is in pristine condition. Despite being in a second-hand bookshop, I don't think it has ever been read, so yeah, I was really pleased to find this one. The book with the shiniest cover award goes to Theft of Swords by Michael J. Sullivan. This is a fantasy book. It's the first one in a series. Again, Michael J. Sullivan is an author that neither myself nor James have ever read anything by, but we know that he is well loved in the fantasy community. This was a book which James picked up because, if you don't know, James is a huge epic fantasy fan. So I believe this is a book about a thief and a mercenary who are basically pegged as plotting to kill the king, but they aren't actually involved. They're basically just being used as scapegoats. So it says on the back, this is an epic tale of treachery, adventure, sword fighting, magic, myth and legend. It's also huge, so definitely more a type of book that James will read rather than me, but if it's good, I'm sure that I will also dip my toe in. So if you've read this one, let me know what you thought. Then we have The Road Home by Rose Tremaine. Again, Rose Tremaine is an author that I've heard of, but I've never read any of her books. Bit of a theme going on with the books that I've been buying just recently. So this is a book about a man called Lev, who is basically moving from his home in Eastern Europe to Britain to start a new life. His wife has died. He has a young daughter, but it's not clear whether the daughter is with him or whether he has left her back in his home country. And it's basically a book about Lev coming into a country where everything is different. There's been huge upheaval in his life and he has to start again. And yeah, it's basically just him trying to acclimatise to Britain, I think. But yeah, I saw it. I actually saw this funny story, and something that I think I've mentioned before, but I have an obsession with going in the back rooms of places. So if we go to a second-hand bookshop, I always ask to go in the storeroom because I'm convinced that there will be things in there that I want to buy. And there is a second-hand bookshop near to here where I'm just really well known to them, and as soon as I go in to the bookshop, they invite me into the back because they know that I'm going to want to have a good route around. And I did it again at Christmas with our Christmas tree. We went to a big garden centre and they were putting trees out, and I said to the guy, I want to go back there and look at the trees back there, and we actually ended up getting a tree from the back. But yeah, it's just like this weird obsession that I have where I want to go in the back. I want to see what you're hiding. And this was stacked way out the back in the bookshop that we were in, and there was like a little alcovey bit where you could just see, and I just reached over and plucked it, and I was like, yeah, I'm having that one as well. So I kind of bought it. I recognised the name Rose Tremaine, but I kind of bought it without really knowing what it was about, so hopefully it's good. But yeah, just a little insight into me that if you have a back room or a storeroom, that's where I'm gonna be. Then we have Red Seas Under Red Skies by Scott Lynch. This is the second book in Scott Lynch's Gentlemen Bastards series, the first one being The Lies of Loch Lamora. I haven't read The Lies of Loch Lamora, but I do own it, and it is on my list of things to read ASAP, and again, saw this, it was in fantastic condition, so I just decided to pick it up, and it's basically about thief and conman Loch Lamora. I've got no idea what this book is about, having not read the first one, but again, a series that has high acclaim, high praise, has often been recommended to me, so at some point I will get to it, and now I own the second one. And we are there, we have made it to the last book, so well done if you stuck with me. The final book I'm going to haul is The Ship of Brides by Jojo Moyes. I have read a good number of Jojo Moyes books and I always enjoy them, and I'm sure that this one will be no different. So this is a book set in 1946, and it says all over the world young women are crossing the seas in their thousands en route to the men they married in wartime and an unknown future. In Sydney, Australia, 4 women join 650 other brides and hundreds of naval officers on an extraordinary voyage to England. So yeah, just one that I'm looking forward to. As I said, I've always enjoyed her books. I enjoy her take on many different topics, and I'm sure that I will enjoy this one as well. So well done if you made it to the end. That is my recent book haul. Thank you very much for watching. Please don't forget to give me the thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you aren't already. Leave me a comment, let me know if you've read any of the books that I've hauled and what you thought, or just comment for some more bookish chat. I always love to chat with you guys in the comments. But as I said, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you soon.